Welcome to Koi Keepers Anonymous, the podcast for fish nerds, people who know the difference between KH, GH, and looking for tips on how to sneak fish into your pond without your spouse noticing. I'm Devin.
I'm
I'm-
Mickey.
I'm Ty.
I'm Woody.
Oh, wow, guys. We introduced ourselves for the first time.
I know, I was totally
This is called
gonna do it, too.
independence.
So proud of us.
Devin has something that he wants to share with everybody because he has spent way too much time on his own yesterday.
Yeah. I was stuck in a warehouse waiting for an order to be picked up, and I found this treasure trove of super old magazines, all koi related, in the bottom of a cabinet inside of a USPS box. And I started going through it, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Some of these are from like the 80s and stuff.
I think the first issue of Koi USA magazine was one of those, no?
I found it's a 20th anniversary reprint reissue of the first magazine, but I did not find any actual first issues.
Oh, really? I think it's
Yeah.
one over here. I think we
Oh,
put
we
it
have one?
here.
But I came across this article that I thought really sounded so familiar. Basically, it made me think, wow, there are no new problems. There's just new people. Because it's talking about like the characters and the types of people you run into at koi shows. And it really hit home with like how there are certain individuals in the hobby right now that people see as, throwing around huge sums of money and making it impossible to compete against them. And what's the point of even showing if they're going to show up? Which is completely the wrong attitude about it. Because as we've seen already, it's not the case. Just because you have the means to buy supposedly the best fish, you still have to be able to take care of them and keep their condition up.
What I loved about this article is that the title is The Big C's in the Show World. And then the subtitle is Competition, Courtesy, Criticism, Carping. But I'm glad they put the subtitle, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. So basically, Devin thought it was really interesting because it's just an article that shows that history does really repeat themselves and the people may be the same and the situation may be the same. But my thinking is maybe our reaction doesn't have to be the same. It has been so far, I feel, but maybe we can at least change that part of the story.
There were definitely echoes of like, oh, these people, you still see these kinds of personalities and things around koi shows today.
I think the only thing that's changed is the date.
Devin phrased it really well. What'd you say? The people change? What was it?
It's same
The people change?
problems, new people.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the archetypes that they show here is the rich guy who everybody hates because they don't feel like they can stand a chance against this person because he's just quote unquote buying the grand champion trophy. But it argues that maybe you'll never see these kind of fish, this level of fish, if this person doesn't bring it out. At the end of the day, he still brought it out to show. He doesn't have to, but he did. And you're welcome for being able to see high quality fish.
Yeah, if you're not, pointing up the money to go over to Japan, you'd never get the opportunity to see fish of this caliber.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly like fish that have even won it. Like we're seeing fish that have won it All Japan show now, like being entered in koi shows in the U.S. I'm like, how cool is that? And then for people to go, well, this is why I don't want to show anymore because it's not fair. I'm sure there's those people also had people saying that about them, which is kind of funny and how things are so circular.
I would guess that probably the people who are most upset about it are those people that you just mentioned.
Which ones?
The people that Devin just said, that the people who were winning, buying the most expensive fish and winning, and then the bigger fish comes in, and a richer guy does the same thing. Is everyone mad, or is it just that one person that was the top guy before?
When the rich guy gets mad because there's a richer guy, that's what you're...
Exactly.
I mean, we've seen this though. Like this is the case we've witnessed, and it's, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
rest of us are like,
So-
we're not even in that league, so there's no competition for us.
I remember though when somebody told us like, oh, I don't want to show at that show because there's no chance I can beat this other person. Devin's response to that person was, well, why would you
you-
just like lay over and let him take it from you? Aren't you even going to give him a fight?
Yeah, like this is your home turf.
Mm-hmm.
Represent, show up, put up a fight.
At
Don't
least
just
show up.
hand it over. Like that's insane.
Yeah. And I like that attitude.
I don't want to make it negative, but you don't know how his fish is going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And even if it shows up perfect, at least he didn't just lie down and let him have it. Like
Mhm.
at least he represented. At least he showed up. Showing up is
Yeah.
like half the battle.
I think if you're only in it to win, then you're setting yourself up for a lot of bad feelings, anyways.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Plus, again, you get to see some really nice fish. If he shows up with amazing fish, then you got to see really good fish. And there's only one way to learn about fish, is to see more good fish.
Oh, I thought you were going to plug your YouTube channel.
You know, that's a better one. If you want to see amazing fish, you got to go to Demi Koi.
But it's like I want to go back to the thing of just like letting somebody, like the fear of somebody potentially better showing up or having better fish showing up, and you just deciding to concede and not even bring your fish and play. Can you imagine, like, I don't know, like the baseball World Series, if like the defending champion came and you're in the semifinals against them and you go, well, they won last year, we'll just give it to them. Like that's insane, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when you put it that way, it really is like, no, of course you need to show up. You need to show your fish and
Yeah.
give it a good effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people, I don't know if it's just there's, I think even bigger than finding a good fish or a fish that has potential for the future is developing your skills, like your husbandry skills and taking care of the fish and growing the fish and improving the fish. That is so much more important than being able to find a good fish. Because when a fish, I feel like I've said this multiple times, gets to a certain size where it's so massive, a lot of times, you know, if skin quality and body are spot on, you don't even see the pattern. It doesn't even matter. And that's more a testament to not the fish, but your keeping skills of that fish. And if you're going to give up and you're not going to challenge, you're not going to strive to make that better, then what is the point of this hobby? Is it literally to show up to see who's got a taller stack of cash? No, it's a beauty contest. We want to see beautiful art. Show up with your art, take good care of your art. That's what it's about.
Not wrong.
I think I've had, the amount of koi shows I've been to is in single digits, but I think I've had this almost close to the same amount of fun at shows that I didn't enter fish. Just going
Really?
to look
Why
at
is that?
fish.
Because I've never
Because it's-
entered fish.
Oh, so there you go. It's fun just to look at the fish, hang out, talk to fish nerds,
Huh.
just enjoy the fish. There's a level of stress that comes with actually having your pets in the show that you can set that aside and just enjoy it.
Yeah. I think having like competing at the show is fun, especially when you win, because like, oh wow, my babies have been recognized as being best in show and all that stuff, right? But just because you're not recognized, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be an enjoyable experience because the whole community showed up.
Not to discount the shows because they're very fun and very cool, but what about the other 364 days of the year? That's when I'm looking at my fish 99.9% of the time. So that's where I get most of my enjoyment from the fish is at home. And then the show's like a fun little other thing that you can also do.
Yeah, you know how when we're getting together now, and obviously we're not showing each other fish because we're in front of a screen. But it's kind of like getting together, and instead of talking about the fish, you could say, "Hey, no, come over, look at my tank, look at the fish that I found." You can actually talk about the fish you have with other people who understand your crazy hobby, and they would speak to you on the same level, and you can show them exactly what you're talking about in front of you. That's a cool part. I think that's a fun part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think of a show as it's all about like networking and making new friends and, finding people that share the same passion as you. And then from that, you get to like learn from each other. You can go check out somebody's setup and see how they did it, or how they feed their fish, or if they make special food, or
The
any
whole reason this podcast exists is because we all went to a koi show and connected and met each other, and then months later we're like, hey, we should do a podcast.
Yeah,
Because of pizza and
Food.
late nights.
yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
happened.
pizza and beer late in the evening.
There you go. There you go. So that's the first archetype that comes up. And it's interesting to see that no matter what era we're
what
in,
decade we're in.
there's still that one guy that has, the most amount of money and showing up with the most expensive fish. There's that guy that does all the work and everyone hates him because he actually does the work. And then there's the people who don't show up at the meetings, but they just show up at the koi show and say, hey, I'm here. I brought my fish, And then the other
You said
interesting
meetings?
Yeah,
who don't
you know what?
they don't show up at the meetings.
Like club meetings.
What meetings?
Can we back up a little bit? The whole point of, club meetings, because the vast majority of koi shows, it's the clubs that put them on and make it happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that whole aspect of it too. The community that's immediately around the koi show that's actually making it happen. Because without them, there's no show.
Exactly. The person who bears the brunt of the work, who does the brunt of the work as well, ends up winning a lot of the awards. And people are like, well, he won everything again, huh? You can't win. And then the next archetype is, there's a lot of archetypes here, but the next archetype that stood out to me was Mr. Know-It-All.
Yeah.
That's the guy that walks up to your tank and says, "Male." Okay,
And a
sure.
very interesting characteristic about Mr. Knowing-All is that he's new to the hobby. Oh, there it is. Here comes along Mr. Know-It-All, the newcomer with knowledge of everything but human nature. That was so funny.
Oh man, he probably couldn't
Yeah,
make any
that's-
friends at his previous club, so he had to switch to a different club.
Oh my God.
I think I met a couple of Mr. Know-It-Alls in my, having gone through a lot of these shows.
There's one at every show.
Yes, that is true. I did notice, though, that there are two avenues that Mr. Know-It-All takes. One is they drop off because Mr. Know-It-All doesn't think that anybody's up to their standard, so they leave, right? The other avenue is they stay, they work at the club, and they become Mr. I'm doing everything. Like, I do the brunt of the work, right? And then Mr. Know-It-All turns into Mr. Humble.
Interesting. Because they learn how much they don't know.
Yeah, because they make the mistakes and they end up paying for it.
They don't always turn into Mr. Humble. There's quite a few Mr. Know-It-Alls that stay Mr. Know-It-All and just fumble their way.
They don't quit either?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe I just blocked that from memory.
The longer I've been doing this hobby, the more I realize how much I don't know. I realize how much I still have to learn. That I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't think of a specific example, but I'm learning new things all the time, little things here and there. I'm like, oh, no kidding. I had no idea that that's the reason that. The best example I have is that video you guys did about Goshki, the sashi, and the way that doesn't matter so much
Yeah.
with Goshki.
I didn't know it at all either.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, no kidding. Okay, that's something I won't worry about if I'm looking at Goshki in the future. It's just like the tiny little things that there's so much to know and so much to learn. I don't ever feel like I'm gonna know enough. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with all that.
No, I think
I'm
you're
just surprised.
absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right because we're also learning as well. For as long as we've been in this hobby, you'd think we'd know more. We learned at the same time you did. Well, not exactly the same time because we filmed it, so we're a little bit ahead of you. But even Shirutsuri, we had that interview with
like how with the
Omasako,
sumi,
we learned
once all
something.
the edges kind of, what do you call it, I guess, become sharp, and the sumi really kind of consolidates, then that's like an indicator that sumi's finished and it's not really going to change anymore after that. I always kind of thought it would always change.
But here's the thing. Those are all the breeder's observations. It's something that they've noticed over time because that's how they see the fish develop. I don't know. I mean, they haven't exactly sat down, created a proof, created like a mathematical equation. They didn't take, like samples. It's not scientific. It's just observing and noticing the things that are happening to the fish, right?
Yeah.
So at some
It's
level, it's opinion. At some level, it's also only the experience of one breeder from one farm. And
yeah.
also,
That's
Koi is.
true
hmm
because we could be talking about, I don't know, Showa. Showa from Dainichi and Showa from Issa are going to do very different things, I'd imagine.
They do, I think, and also different bloodlines do different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, stuff even amongst like from the same farm, if it's from, different lineage, it's probably going to develop differently.
Mickey, you said you're still learning things. So for Mickey and Devin, what's the biggest new thing that you've learned that blew your mind in the last, few years?
The importance of KH.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just coming from a place that just had extremely hard water and never had KH issues, and moving to a different location where the water makeup is completely different. I didn't realize how important that was to like filtration function, like supporting the pH, all that kind of stuff, and how fragile it is.
I'm surprised, like, how did you go so long without ever seeing a KH crash?
So this is something that I think
Just the
is
water's different where I was before.
no. Yes, it is because the water is different, but also this is a perfect example of when your blessings are a curse.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're experiencing the worst situation, for example, you're experiencing bad fish health, or you're having you have poor filters. Even outside of Koi, let's say you're a musician and you don't have access to very good equipment, and you learn on very bad, like not very good instruments, and you learn you have to be better at your craft in order to be able to play well. Well, Devin in Minnesota and in Japan has always had perfect water quality. He turns on the tap and that water does not need to be conditioned, does not need to do anything.
Don't have
He
to
can run up
chlorinate it.
nothing, like 100% water change. It doesn't even matter because it is perfect. And that's why he doesn't know anything about KH. When you have perfect all the time and nothing goes wrong, you don't have no problems to fix. So you don't have to figure anything out.
My first summer of heavy feeding, I had a KH crash. So it's like, I
Mhm.
don't see how you could go years without seeing that. If you're doing huge water changes all the time, maybe.
Oh yeah, massive flow through all
Perfect
the
water.
time.
So in
Didn't matter.
Minnesota, you had flow through?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I don't
Okay,
think he
yeah,
ever
that'll do
turned
it.
that off.
Yeah. No, like if you took like a garden hose, it would be like 1/3 coming out
Wow.
24/7.
Yes, and this is
Nice.
also well water,
Yeah.
not city water.
Yeah. So you don't have to
Well,
worry
well
about
water
chlorine,
could
chloramines, anything like that.
wildly vary in KH, right? So well water, I think, is normally lower in KH, right?
Now our
But it doesn't
location
matter
is
if you.
extremely hard water.
Okay.
We're like near like it's all like limestone and stuff all around us.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. You don't
Interesting.
learn how to manage your water when you have perfect water. You don't learn how to manage fish health when your fish are never sick.
So
Yep.
yeah, that's my fear. So let me start knocking on all kinds of wood around here, because I have never had yet a bacterial problem or a parasite problem. And so I'm like, I don't know anything about, never done PP, never done all these medications that everyone's talked to, never had to use anything. So I
I think
feel
I
like
would
there's
rather
this
have a parasite problem than a
then
bacterial
bacteria.
problem.
Yeah, that's what people say, because
Oh,
parasites are more manageable, right?
I
But
think
I don't know.
that I think it depends on the country. You say that here
Yeah,
because
it's
you
your
have
climate.
colder water or like up and down temperature. I talked to my brother in the because he ran the shop in the Philippines for a very long time, and he said he would rather have the bacterial problem over the parasite problem because it's
Really?
hot water. Yeah, all they have to do is treat for the bacteria, the hot water, it doesn't allow it to like thrive.
Because bacteria also doesn't have like a life cycle, whereas like
Mm.
some parasites, lay eggs and hatch after a certain number of days, depending on what the water temperature is, or give like live birth, stuff like that. So a lot of times if
Well,
they're
plus the fish's immune system is way higher in the warm water with the
Exactly.
bacterial. Yeah.
Sometimes
yeah.
if it's too
Well,
hot,
it's too hot, it kind of does the same thing as when it's cold. It starts to suppress it. It's getting out of that ideal range.
How hot does it have to be?
Like 85 plus, you're probably starting to see an effect on the fish's immune system, just like if the water was down to like, I don't know, 50 degrees or something like that.
how does the bacteria react in hot water, Dev? Is it
I mean,
not hot, but
in the one thing, like hot water carries less oxygen, so depending on what kind of treatment you're doing, you have to be very careful regarding your dissolved oxygen. But I don't think it's necessarily harder or easier to treat in hot water. I just think maybe the parasite life cycle is harder to gauge in hot water. That's
Mhm.
what makes it harder to treat
Probably.
compared to bacterial.
Because all I remember is that parasite problems don't seem to end once it takes hold. It's very
And a
difficult.
lot of times too, I think people think the problem is like a parasite problem or bacterial problem, but there's a bigger issue of your, environment management. What's your water quality? What's the like stress on the fish? Why are they stressed? Are the filters clean? Are they getting fed properly? That kind of thing.
Is your source water? Is the water in your pot have something wrong with it? Yeah.
Exactly. The
Mickey,
fish will be
back to
healthy until, sorry, lost my thought there.
Don't worry, they want to hear from me anyway.
A healthy group of fish, if managed properly, is going to be very resilient to disease and infection. But once something goes wrong within that population, like water quality is not ideal, they're going to become very susceptible to infection.
Yes, Woody.
I wanted to circle back to what your brother said, because he said that parasite problems are even worse, which I find surprising, because there's a very famous koi farmer in England who has a whole thing about talking about bacteria, who says that if I have a bacterial problem, I'll just call the whole lot. It's not even worth it.
Really?
And so
Mhm.
a lot of people think that bacteria is like much more difficult to deal with than parasites.
I think bacteria is very difficult to deal with, but I don't know if it means calling the entire lot. Wow.
I think why people in England would find it more difficult to treat bacterial issues is also comes to the climate. It's a lot cooler there, so the fish's like recovery rate and healing rate is going to be a lot slower unless you're heating the water. So if they got like these giant open wounds, it's never going to heal up properly, or it's going to take forever to heal and not be marketable. So that's why they figure it's more economical to just call these fish and move on and start over.
Interesting.
I have maybe difficult point to raise on parasite problems and bacterial problems that may or may not be popular, but here we go. When it comes to parasites or any health issue with fish, it's very easy to blame yourself for having not. No, it's very easy to point the blame on the wrong thing, whether it's yourself, your pond, the person who was taking care of the pond, the source water, all these things. When something goes wrong, we usually end up blaming the wrong thing first. And then we keep blaming the wrong thing first without looking at the possibility that maybe it's another thing that's causing it. For example, if you have a bacterial problem in your pond and you're thinking, oh, maybe I didn't do enough water changes, or maybe I didn't clean enough. But you keep doing the same thing, it keeps happening. Maybe you should have looked at your source water, but you're so busy thinking that it's this problem, you don't like go down the line of what the other problems are. That's what I think.
I think too, one of the things that's the most difficult for people to recognize as being the reason behind bacterial issues, because a lot of people don't even see this. It's your water quality can be perfect, the fish can be happy and healthy and eating, but they keep getting ulcers, and it's usually because the pond is overcrowded. So there's no like stressor coming from the environment other than just being too much fish in there, and that can cause the fish to like have a suppressed immune system and then become susceptible to just like little sores.
Are they just stressed because they don't have enough elbow room?
Yeah. I mean, imagine if the room you're in, we put 30 other people in there with you, and you guys had to live like that. How would it make you feel?
I do feel like most ponds are overstocked.
Yeah.
It could be managed though.
Except for you and me, Woody, our ponds are very understocked.
Well, it's understocked for like right now today, but once the fish like in 6 months or a year are as big as they're gonna be, then I'll be not understocked. I'll be perfectly
Right.
stocked. And so
Yeah.
since it's so hard to move fish on that you know, yeah, oh, it's a great idea. Buy 10 fish and just keep your favorite 3. But then what am I going to do with these other 7 fish?
That's a hard thing.
Yeah.
Like people ask us that all the time. There are a few resources, but I have no good answer,
It's
like
hard.
consistent answer. That's when you say, please let me get a parasite or bacterial infection.
Yeah, but that only happens to your favorite fish. That never happens to the fish you don't
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, you got to move them out to a separate tank and then just, overcrowd the pond and go, oh no, oh no.
Why do you think I always tell people they should have more than one pond?
Yeah.
They can overcrowd one and oh man.
Yeah.
Terrible advice.
Well, you don't have favorite kids, but you could have favorite fish, right?
Yeah, there you go.
I think that the koi clubs should have some kind of a fish adoption bulletin board or something.
Yeah, some of them do. Some do auctions, but I think it would be better if there was a more accessible thing that it was easier for people to upload to.
Exactly,
stuff
like
like
an
that.
auction. What I'm going to
That'd
wait
be
around
great.
till the next auction, which is 6 months down the line. I mean, it should be like
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of people, especially new people in the hobby, that would love
Yeah.
to have some free big fish, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what Facebook groups have evolved to. There's a lot of Facebook.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't like to use Facebook. That's the problem.
And
with it.
also, Facebook is not very local.
So
I'm
but they'll
not trying
post
to
there like,
drive
hey, I'm
100
in the Bay
miles.
Area. Yeah, some people say I'm in the Bay Area. Is anyone looking to rehome fish? All that stuff.
I did move on a couple fish to a new hobbyist exactly that way, but it's just like luck of the draw. It's not like anything you can count on.
And
Yeah.
also, if you're looking for a fish on Facebook, there comes the issue of like health of the fish. Maybe some people are worried about that. I mean,
I think that newcomers to the hobby have very, very bad biosecurity. They're out there buying fish from every dealer, all over the place, trading fish from backyard ponds. It's like, yeah.
well,
it's the Wild West.
there is only one way to learn how to deal with fish problems.
That's how you get better at this hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
know.
you can learn from others' mistakes, though.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard.
Yeah, but it's
I've
not as
heard
Nothing beats
about.
sticky, is
firsthand
it?
experience.
Yeah.
Not as sticky.
Honestly, I wish I didn't have a lot of the firsthand experience that I have. But
Yeah.
I know that if I had a fish have something happen, I would know what to do now and not hesitate or, wonder what's happening. Does that make sense? It's like,
No,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I think it's really well, I don't know. I think it's good that you're learning about it at this stage of the hobby because
Yeah, it gives you that confidence to level up to the next level because now you know what to do when issues arise.
and you know what to pay attention for. Here's something that it's a gripe I have, and I think people, even you, Ty, you were afraid to give us a call when you saw stuff come up because nobody wants to inconvenience somebody else.
I think it's that, but I think unfortunately it is also this weird sense of shame that comes with what's happening in a way.
Mhm.
'Cause I
Absolutely,
feel like I'm
yes.
failing,
Yeah.
and it makes it harder for me to turn to somebody and talk about what's going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like-
definitely. It's
Absolutely.
very relatable.
I think it's so interesting though because you mentioned that, and I think a lot of people feel that shame because they feel personally responsible for their fish getting sick. And I don't think it's unfounded because I think a lot of people do shame other people when their fish gets sick. And it's unfortunate because
That's not cool.
exactly. It's not like you wanted your fish to get sick, right?
And
Yeah.
it probably happens to everybody at some point, even
Exactly.
professionals, like all the
Oh, yeah.
YouTube professionals that I've seen, they've all talked about stories of things that have gone wrong and they learned from it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you stock ponds as heavily as most retailers do,
You could have some
something's
crazy
gonna
issues.
happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. Even if you're trying to do the right thing, the best to your ability, something's gonna happen.
I remember when I think it was a vet or somebody working at a lab told us that we had inadvertently designed a system better at growing Aeromonas bacteria than they had when they intentionally set out to design something in their lab. Because of the way we had so many air stones in the pond, you know, liquefying all of the fish waste before it had a chance to like get taken out by mechanical filtration. And we had insane like ulcer issues, bacterial holes, stuff like that in
Can
these
you tell
fish.
the
It was
story, Dev, from the beginning,
Was
please?
this in
Because
Minnesota?
I think this is interesting.
yeah.
Yes, this was when
This is like
Devin
our
first started.
first I think it was our first shipment of fish.
Way back when.
In like 2004, I think we received it. And we
Right.
just had like in each tank, I think we had it was either 8 or 12 like foot long air stones in the tanks. And there's these like 4,500 gallon tanks with 2 bottom drains. Went to like a vortex settlement chamber and then to a bead filter and then pumped back to the tank. But because we had so much aeration, so much churning in the pond, no physical solid waste ever settled in the vortex. It all just basically got pureed and liquefied. So it never settled. And it was just so much. Basically, that's the food for the bacteria then, that waste. And it just, we created, I think, like a massive bloom, I guess, of Aeromonas just in the water so that any like little nick or cut or scrape on the fish just became infected. And then, of course, we didn't know a clue what we were doing. So I doubt we even tested the water quality or checked the ammonia or anything like that or added salt. And every fish was just covered in like multiple ulcers.
It's
So
incredible.
that's how we learned how to inject fish because we literally injected every single fish. And like one of the tanks was like, I think it was like 800 tosi.
Is that why you have an aversion to
Wow.
injection?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Devin is so allergic to doing inject. Like he
I
knows
was-
how to do it, but it's like he doesn't want it to have. Once
It
it gets to that
lasts-
point, he's all like, "Oh, I don't want to do it. I want to
Well,
try to avoid doing it."
Yeah,
All
but
that stuff.
also there's so many people abuse it and overuse
Yes,
like
that is true.
antibiotics and create resistant strains of bacteria, and you want to try to avoid that at all costs. So
I think that's true, but also your aversion to injection is a little bit more than that. So it makes sense now. Thank you for sharing. I also think that that system that you designed, if you really think about it, like having so much aeration, like it's not something that they tell you not to do in any book.
yeah,
There's no book that
heavy
won't,
aeration.
especially like, for example, in a tropical country, you can't over aerate, but you can liquefy the waste before it's even
Yeah, you
able to
gotta
be
be-
mechanically removed. That's really interesting.
So how did you modify the pond besides removing air stones?
So we actually drained the ponds, built a wall in the pond that was at one side that was maybe like 2 feet from the existing wall, and then put all the air stones behind that wall, and it basically the water filled up from behind the wall, filled up and waterfalled back into the pond. So then all the aeration was back there, and then we put like
Media.
bio balls and stuff back there.
Turn that into the biological filter
Okay.
area.
So added more bio.
Yeah. And it was a very easy fix.
I mean, it's not so easy because we had to build a block wall, drain the tanks, and scrape up the latex.
Well, it was easy
paint.
for Mickey.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But so I guess if you had like just put those, basically if you just put the air stones, or maybe just remove some of the air stones, would have been enough.
I don't know because it's still the air was mixing with where the fish would poop before it could get to the settlement. So I think if you can, outside of like aerated bottom drains are fine because I think it helps like create that like circulation that helps draw stuff towards the bottom drain. But if you just have random air stones all over the pond, that's not helping.
That's true.
That's just there, chopping everything up. So if you want to try and keep the air stones somewhere, preferably after the mechanical filtration and not in the same place before the waste is being picked up by the mechanical filtration.
Yep.
Interesting.
That is really interesting. I like that story actually.
I don't. It's not a story, it's a bad memory.
trauma. Devin's trauma revealed.
Why do you guys keep making me relive my trauma?
Oh, they lost their internet. Well, I think I'm just going to go ahead and end this episode. This has been Koi Keepers Anonymous. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.